Hey guys, so I'm coming to you today on what is a very hot and moist day here in the northeast of the United States to bring you some updates on some projects that I've got going on. Some of these things you've seen in previous videos, others you haven't, but you will be seeing all of them in videos coming up soon. And I've also got a few things that people still ask me about in older videos that I thought I'd kind of just answer in this one. So if you're interested in what I've got going on, stay tuned and we'll go through it all right now. Now, before I go any further, I just want to make clear that there's going to be something for everyone in my next few videos. It's not going to be all PC stuff, even though it might seem that way from what I've got set up on my table here. That's just because this is what needs the most work. But trust me, there's going to be games, there's going to be all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, here you see my IBM PC, which you just saw a video on, but I'm planning to do a full review of this system. The reason that I haven't yet is that I don't really have a way to get software onto it. You see next to it there, I have Microsoft Flight Simulator. That was the first game I ever played on the PC, so I just bought that again on 5.25-inch disc. But beyond that, I need a way to get software, a modern way to get software onto this machine. I do have an XT to IDE converter coming, as well as a CF to IDE converter that will allow me to use a CF card to get software onto this machine. It's a full kit. I've got to build it. I may or may not also do a video on that. I'm not sure how interesting that would be because it's just soldering a bunch of stuff together. But we'll see. I might film it and then decide later. But after that, anyway, I'll be able to do a full review on the IBM PC. I'm also planning to do a comparison between the Model F keyboard there and the Model M. There's been kind of a debate over the past few years over what is the one true keyboard. I have enough experience with both at this point that I think I can do a good comparison, and I have several Model M's as well that I can compare this Model F with. So that's that. Now, right next to the PC here is my 15-year-old desktop that I did in another video. And I kind of joked in that video that it was going to the PC graveyard in the sky. I mean, come on guys, it was a joke. I'm not really throwing this thing out. I did take it all apart and I left it apart for a while, but I'm putting it back together again. And yes, I did replace those caps that you guys had rightly pointed out were actually blown. At least one of them was fully blown, not just bulging on the top. And there were 3 of them, all the same cap. This 6.3 volt 1500 microfarad cap from a company called JackCon. I don't know if that's a big company, but I've never heard of them. Anyway, I replaced them with some Panasonics, and that's in there now. I've actually got this thing pretty much back together. I just need to, I just need to fire it up and test it out. But basically, the reason why I'm putting it back together is that I've realized recently that it's pretty useful both to have a test machine that's reliable for older software and hardware, and also something that can natively make floppy disks. I've run into this problem. I'm not going to get too deeply into it now, but I've had a big problem recently in trying to get files that are only contained on floppy images that don't work in any kind of emulator or any kind of simulator either. So I'm just getting together a system with a real floppy again, and it's basically ready to go. I just got to fire it up, so that's the update to that video, which I still get some comments on, people saying, no, don't throw it away. I'm not. It's right here and it's going to get used again. Behind that we have my IBM P70, which you'll remember from a couple videos ago I was having a hell of a time with because the floppy drive was not working and the BIOS settings had been cleared and there was no way to reset them without the floppy drive. In fact, this is one of the things that convinced me to put together my the PC I was just showing you again for the floppy drive. But anyway, I've actually got the P70 mostly working at this point, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the things that it can do, some of the software that's on there now, and some of what I've put on there since then. This is the drive from that machine, the floppy drive. And let me just get this thing closer in focus. And I've done my best with this thing. I've recapped it actually 3 different times with different types of caps, and these are new as well. I mean, I actually used SMD caps at first, but I've tried different types of caps, and I've tried connecting them in different ways, you know, thinking the pads were bad. Actually, this one pad here, where my thumb is, did come off at one point, so that's why this cap is connected directly to the leg of the chip. But no, nothing worked. I think what the problem is at this point is the tracings, which are just really bad. And you see here, if you can see that, I don't know, but where my thumb is again, I have tried to fix that. We guitar players have our little secrets, and one of mine is this copper tape, which is conductive not only on the tape side or the top side, but actually has conductive adhesive as well. So you stick a little of that tape on, and it's like sticking a wire on something. So I've done that, but it didn't help. And I think that's just because there's so many of these tracings. There's so many little spots that are corroded and gone away, and I don't really know where the actual problem is. I've used a multimeter to test continuity, but I don't know if it's just like, you know, intermittent or not quite good enough or not carrying quite enough current. I don't know. Something in here is busted, and I did get the drive to work a little bit, and it worked well enough to actually get into the reference disk at one point. But after I got a couple of programs on it, after that it died again, and haven't been able to bring it back. So I'm waiting on another one. Hopefully I've sourced another drive. And that's really the last thing to get this P70 fully restored. You see here I do have a couple of floppy emulators. I bought this Lotharic HXC to start with. This is a really nice device. It even emulates the sounds the drive makes, and it's really accurate in doing that. But I can't get it to work with the P70. I know I need a custom cable. I made that cable, but it's just something about the configuration, or I don't know what it is. I'm working with the guy who makes these right now to try to figure that out. But in the meantime, I did buy just a cheap Gotek floppy emulator, and that worked fine right out of the box. So that's been helping me get software onto the P70. And, you know, the hard drive, the screen, everything works great now in the P70. So I can't wait to show you all that. I just want to have it fully restored before I actually do. Now, my most popular video ever, still to this day, is my $20 laptop video. And this is that laptop. It's a ThinkPad 600X. And one of the problems that I was having in that video was finding DOS audio drivers. I was trying to play Doom in that video and other DOS games and wasn't getting any sound. I actually found the DOS drivers. I got them loaded. And you see I have the verbose interface going here where it tells me exactly what's happening. Everything seems fine here, but it's still not working. When I go into any game, and I'll just load up Doom 2 again real quick for you, if I can type. Game loads fine, of course. But there's no sound. Now, I've turned off MIDI here. MIDI does work. It always worked, but I turned it off just so I could hear better, and there's no sound effects in the game. So I really don't know what's going on. One of the things I'm thinking is that this is a OEM driver that I'm using right now. There is an IBM provided driver diskette that, again, is a disk image that doesn't work in any other. You can't use it with an emulator or DOSBox or anything like that. So again, that's one reason why I want to reel floppy drives, to at least get the files off that disk. And you know, I don't know if it's going to work because I don't think there's any customizations they've done to these drivers, but who knows? I'll try them and see what happens. I do have sound in Windows on this machine, and it's Windows 98, so there's still tons of games I can play. but it would be nice to be able to play DOS games on this machine. It's more than powerful enough for any DOS games that I would actually want to play. And, you know, it's a little tiny laptop, and so it's a great machine to have for that purpose. I will say one thing, which is that I managed to get wireless networking working with WPA2 security in Windows 98, which I didn't even think was possible, but I do have wireless internet on this laptop now with modern security, and that's actually helped a lot. That's let me get software onto this machine. You know, if I need something, I can just, little wire there. If I need something, I can just download it now straight onto the machine, which I actually couldn't do before. I had to download it onto my other laptop, put it on a CD, and then load it into this machine via CD. So it's helped a lot just getting Wi-Fi working. It's the kind of thing you really don't realize, you kind of take for granted these days, but it's a huge convenience. Now, in terms of upcoming game stuff, obviously I've still got my Sega Saturn hooked up here, and that's given me the idea that I'm finally going to do this video on rail shooters that I've wanted to do. I talked actually at the beginning of the year about this. I love rail shooters as a genre. I have a ton of them. I've played a ton more. And the Saturn has at least a couple that are definitely worth putting in a best of list. So I'm going to do a best of rail shooters video very soon. One of my next ones probably, with games from various different systems and the arcades. And I'm actually excited about that. So look for that one very soon. It may even be next. I'm not sure. And of course, I'll do some regular gameplay videos like I've started doing, although probably not on the Saturn, because I just want to mix it up a little bit each time. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to pick something out and play it myself. And you know, this is kind of a quick, dumb indulgence, but back in the 80s, we used to talk a lot about who actually made the best cartridges, physically the best cartridges. We would judge systems that way. So I want to just do a quick little video about like top 8 or 9 best cartridge designs of all time, and maybe a few of the worst as well. So watch for that soon too. That's just going to be a quick, short little video. So that's about it for now. As you can see, I do have a lot going on. I'm just waiting for certain things. I'm in the middle of kind of working on certain things, and other things I've just got to get the script going and sit down and do it. But watch for all these videos and more coming up soon. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now, and you'll be notified when all these videos go up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.